West, y'all.
Nah, I didn't get you. It was like just down the road. Nah.
I didn't know it was at the trust until after like 2 days later when I saw the stories and that.
Funniest one I saw was one of the old boys. He went with his sister and like good close mates.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Oh, we're going to Backstreet Boys," and he was like, "Yes." Then they were going at the trust stadium.
Got there and
And then he just saw the billboard. Yeah, what the fuck? There, it's Snoop Dogg. And he was like over the moon, eh? But it's like,
yo.
Backstreet Boys, what a heck excited guy.
Are you Backstreet Boys fan?
Now the guy Tony was trying to get on. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
His story.
How's your week been?
Yeah, good, man.
Yeah.
Just busy, man.
Yeah.
Busy. I was telling Litty, it's like, fuck, when you try to get busy, it's just the admin gets bigger and bigger, and like the preparation and the plan for it is just crazy, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. The schedules and all of that stuff,
Yeah.
which is good because, you know, you get better in that side of your life, the scheduling and all that. But again, it's just like, oh man, the more you take on, you got to try adjust somewhere else in your life. Eh? It's like, oh man.
So who's doing the scheduling? Is it your own stuff for what you do? Or?
Oh, bro, yeah. So, like, I'll do the scheduling just for me, but then I'll take that scheduling back to my wife and go, yo, does this fit with the week?
Yeah.
Because, you know, like, we got 3 kids, so it's like, oh man, that one's got this training and that one's got that extra co-curricular, and it's like,
So what do you do?
So, bit of everything, man. Like teaching. So you teach secondary school. Write, direct, produce, manage, rugby league. Yeah, just that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, so I can see how the scheduling might cause some problems because you got like different things going all at once, huh?
Yeah.
So your week is like you said, real busy. Eh? Like,
Yeah.
so how do you balance that out? Like obviously with the scheduling, but you know as you're doing that, like you gotta sacrifice a few things.
Yeah,
the week.
bro.
Yeah.
I just call it stealing time, eh? Like you gotta steal time, man. So you steal time from this thing, but then you gotta try and adjust the other thing, and then it's a mission, man. It's a mission. But you just gotta make do, man. And then whatever you miss out doing, you just gotta be able to go, nah, sweet, I didn't get that thing done today. I'll just do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
But there's also those things that you try to hold on to, like workout. You know, you're like, oh nah, because once you I feel like if you let that one go, then everything else is gone. Eh? So you're like, nah, you gotta try hold on to some of those things. Got to be like staples that you go, yeah, that's got to be done like daily. Then the rest is just like, oh, if you miss out, you miss out. Yeah, but that's just for me because otherwise I get real anxious, and then I'm like trying to control a new thing, and you just feel like you can't hold on to everything. But that's the truth. You can't hold on to everything, bro.
But you're the type of guy to like have to be doing something.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you stop, then things will go like things will get out of control if you stop.
Yeah, bro.
You got to be active all the time.
Yeah.
Oh.
And plus, I'm like super competitive, eh?
Yeah.
Bro, I'm super competitive.
We get it.
Man, I'm super competitive. So I'm like, as a creative, I'm always thinking like, oh man, there's the next thing that's coming up behind me is like coming up quick. So I gotta stay on my grind. You know, if it's 2 steps ahead, that's good. Because the next thing that's coming up is always close by, you know. The person that's coming up next is always working twice as hard as you, so it's like, oh shit. But it's good. Yeah. But in that sense, it's like healthy competition. Yeah, it's healthy competition, man. Yeah.
It's funny because just yesterday, we were talking to Mono about how he gives himself his own pressure just to be up in the game. Like
just to not fall off not get slack and complacent almost.
Yeah. And sometimes, because he was saying like sometimes the pressure's not there, so I have to put my own pressure.
Yeah.
Just make it up so I can do something.
Yeah, bro.
You know?
Yeah.
And that reminded me of, I didn't watch The Last Dance.
Yeah.
The Michael Jordan, but he used to, remember there was a part in the interview when he said he used to be angry at a player, but
Yeah.
because you tripped me up or something like that, or said something, but it wasn't true. It was just for his mind to be better in the game.
To have that edge.
To have the edge. I was like, oh, wow, this guy, crazy.
What'd you say about my mama?
Yeah, those ones, eh?
See your fadeaway was shit. Sick come again. He's gonna shoot the more game, mate.
And like the other players like, what? I didn't say anything.
Yeah.
Nah, man, I'm gonna get you,
Yeah.
man. Gonna get you.
I'm gonna get you.
But he just made it up just so he can be under pressure himself.
That's it, man. That's
Oh.
it. That's it, man.
But at least you're like, when you walked in, he said, man, you talked about that time factor thing, me. Like I was just saying to Suli, like, man, of all the guys we've come across and spoken to, you either hit one of those 5 categories. It's either like you work hard and you drink hard, you work hard and then you're a coach, you do community stuff, or you're working and you go and you're a church man, and then you either playing football for yourself, and then you're working as well. I was like, it's hard to come across guys that do it all and then say they got time for everyone else, because it almost seems like they don't have time for themselves.
Yeah.
Because you put it on the back burner already, and that
Crazy.
becomes like you were saying, like the staples. Like you gotta make sure you do
Hard.
what you need to do first.
Yeah. And it's just sometimes, like how we were saying, like the money's not as important as time, because you can never get that back. Like once that time's gone, it's like, jeez, but you can always make the dollar back.
Yeah.
You always make that dollar back.
Yeah, Charles Lomu summed that up the best, like because he does the teaching with the students, the barbering.
Yeah.
That's £6, eh? And £6 says it to all those students. He goes, man, you can, with a trade like this, you can go around the world, you can do whatever you want to do, but you got to remember this, man. Like when you're on your deathbed, it's not the material things you buy. The one thing you'll be asking for is time, and there's nothing that's something that no one can actually pull out of the world and then give to you.
Yeah, man.
Just like But man, it's good to see you busy.
That's
Dogs.
deep, dogs. That's deep.
I love following you, man. Like, and,
deep, man.
and the perfect thing about it is our sense of humor is the same. Dogs. Like I got that snippet of that chick in the wig from him. Like I couldn't believe I didn't play it. I was just like, oh, what's this? You know, keep going through it. Even when I actually played it, I was like, this guy, man.
Awkward, man. Awkward moments like this. Yeesh.
I never heard the Lord's name and nigga in the same
Same
sentence.
thing. That's why I was buzzing out when I seen it. I was like,
It's just a word. It's just a word. It's all right.
Damn.
crazy.
So you just finished coaching. Are you still managing? What tournaments just finished up?
We're in the Dean Bowell under 18s at the moment. So Auckland under 18s. And I'm managing for Coach Mike Monday and Coach Sosh Kailahi. Yeah.
Is it so is it like a rep tournament? Is it the Māori names tournament?
No, it's a tournament run by Auckland Rugby League and the Warriors. Yeah. So I think these guys, the 18s, that are trying to go for Akarana as well as, it's like a pathway for Akarana as well as SG Ball.
Shit.
Yeah.
Full on, eh?
Yeah, crazy, man. And it's cool too, like working with these 18-year-olds, you're like, man, these ones, like, I was like you, you know what I mean? I was like you, like you see like the kid that comes to training late and you're like, hey, or you see the one that's like really trying every week and you're like, man, it's just cool, eh? It's cool. And it's buzzy because like I got into managing through my son's teams, and my son's like 15 now. He started at Richmond Sixers, and my wife was originally the manager. Or she's still the manager. But I just help her out, and then went from that to like kind of co-managing, and then I started managing for like Tonga Hakula, and then, but I kind of got on the managing buzz because of her. So watching like 15s, my son's age group, and then watching the 18s going, man, it's just the same, mate. Like the kids it's just the same. Doesn't matter the age group. They still need love. They still need positivity. They still need guidance. Doesn't matter how old you are. They're still needing rides. You know, because you think at 18 is like, oh man, you're old enough to. Yeah. But at the same time, you're like, nah, they actually still need guidance and wraparound support, just like they do if they're 15 or 12 or 9. Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Because when we were that age, you're right, Lee. You're right. Because when we were at that age, we could find our own way and know what to do, eh?
Yeah.
Like if there was no car, we'll catch a bus or something like that, eh? And now, but the kids that age, I'm not.
Yeah, it's a weird one, man.
Man.
It's a weird one because, like, I think for our generation was more like we were really proactive. Like, you know, if you didn't have fun, you make fun. Hey, like,
Yeah.
if you didn't have a PlayStation, then you just pretend, like, you know, like all of that stuff. Or like maybe in your group of friends, one guy had the PlayStation and everyone went there. Hey.
Yeah.
Now everyone has one and they play from their own homes, kind of thing. Hey, it's not as fun as we think. But I think for us, we make do with a lot of things, and that the generation now they really make do. I guess, yeah, it's a weird one.
It is weird because I don't know how you parent that now.
Yeah,
Is it because parents are too busy these days?
yeah.
And
I think it is. It's one factor, but also I think you got to remember, like, if you can remember hard enough as an 18-year-old, do you really know right from wrong and what's responsible? Because it's foreign, eh? Like, you know, imagine back in the day, I'm all good to drive, but you've been drinking, but you still drive. Like, oh, I'm less sober than this guy, but I'll still drive.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that.
well, that means that's talking about how dangerous the environment was back then. But we're still going ahead with stuff. Well,
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, still, kids are still dying, like under the age of 20, still dying, like drink driving or speeding, stuff like that. That's still coming up on the news.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, this the other week we saw those 3 kids in the news, Beach Haven, the stabbing. Like, you know, the consequence, that stuff's to consider as well, you know?
well, we didn't have social media is big now, eh? Back then,
Oh,
eh?
yeah.
So we couldn't see what other things.
The influence of it is
happening.
freaking crazy, man.
Yeah.
But then again, you know, parents were dropping their kids off at school now. No, we used to walk, eh? Walk everywhere, eh?
Walk everywhere, man.
Like primary school, just walk. If it's far away, you still walk, eh?
Walking gang, eh? Walking gang, man.
But that's Senete, beat the feet like Senete and Jedi teachers, real way. Like,
Ooh. Walking to like a party in Central from West Auckland. Eh? The drive, eh? The drive in your mind with your boys, your 5 boys that you're walking with from out west to some party in like Waitakere College party. You're like, man. Now, you know, the motivation that you had as young guys to get there, eh? Now you're like, oh man, if only I had that motivation to get up to go gym. It's like, oh yeah. Man.
Ah, you're right, man. You're right.
Swear, man.
Yeah, that's the word, the motivation.
Yeah.
The motivation for us back then, it was massive, eh?
Yeah, and
Like we tell our kids now what we used to do, they won't believe us, eh?
I think I got an idea. Hey, let's just go say, hey, you know what? This lady asked me for my number. Bang. Just like going jump out of shit, if I want to go check out her batch up north.
yeah.
That's the motivation.
Well, the crazy thing was back then when those parties, like where we used to walk around with no social media and hardly anyone had phones, so you wouldn't know if their party was on. Hey, you might walk all that way to some party in Green Bay. Some stoners from Green Bay are hosting this party. You get there, the party's not even on. And you're like, oh, yo.
Yeah, it's hard to. You guys bring back those memories, man. Packed in the car, one car, those nights.
Yeah, man. Shout out to all the house parties from back in the day, man. Like, shit.
Yeah, man.
Even if the music was shit, man, but because all the people was there, you know?
Oh,
And there was no such thing as like people anxiety and all that stuff, but you would just all of a sudden a free bird, eh? Like, especially all the guys who went to church, eh? Like back in the day. Guys go to seminary and all that, you know? The guys had you know? You practice and then just roll up.
It's even amazing. We just rolled up with no phones and hey,
yeah, man.
How do we know? We don't even know it's happening. We just go and
Nah. The amount of times, when you're like a teenager, you rock up to a party, don't know who it is. They're like, who are you? It's like, oh, D invited me. And they're like, oh, you're with D. Oh, good. Hey. And then, when you get to that school, they're like, who'd you come with? Like, D invited me. There's no D here. There's no one. Hey. No, I came with D. Crazy, man.
because they left the party back in out west those days.
Shout out to Green Bay College. Shout out to Whitetail College. All those are the schools that used to host the parties, eh?
Hard knocks.
Sturgis Road, West Coast Road.
You know, I'm gonna try to start up once upon a time in Auckland City. I might do a West section, West episode. You'll be one of the guest stars because I want to hear about this party.
Some good times.
Good
times, man. There's some good times. The 90s, man. Aye.
So you got a Richmond Rovers teacher, though.
Man.
What's your history with the club?
I don't have any history with it. I don't have any history with it. But it's my wife's family club. Yeah. So when we had our son, and she was like, "Oh, yo, he's gonna play league." I was like, "Yeah, cool, he'll play league." And I was looking for any club out west because we stay in Cowston, so it's like Stags, Glenora, Te Aratu. There's heaps of clubs around us. But father-in-law went and registered him at Richmond because that's his club. And I was like, "Oh man." It's not that I didn't. It was the travel, you know, because I was like, "Oh man, I don't have any petrol money to get out to Richmond every time, you know." But hey, you just make do, man. And so it was a blessing in disguise, man. Him, my father-in-law, registering him there, because then we kind of reconnected with the club again. Yeah, so he's no longer alive anymore. But yeah, being there makes us feel closer to him. Yeah,
Nice.
Right.
and especially for my son. Yeah, he's Richmond through and through, man. Like this year is his first year not playing at Richmond because we don't have a team. We're just at the age where school rugby pool is a lot stronger than the club pool, eh? So a lot of the kids have gone to school rugby or just not come back to play. So my boy had to go to another club. This would have been his 10th year at Richmond. Yeah, so I was like, oh man. So he missed out on his 10, but yeah, unfortunately he's had to go to another club. But his heart will always be with Rich. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few clubs that don't have the age group through high school years, but there's some clubs that do, and they still play it. I know Glenora was struggling to get kids from high school to make up a team, so they all split up and went to Mount Albert.
Mount Albert, yeah.
Oh,
Maris.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy that. But, you know, there's like, that problem happens, that problem's happening heaps out west and central. You look at Southside, man, there's something about South Auckland, their player retention for their clubs is,
bro,
it's awesome, man. Yeah. They've
think
got
that's got to do
teams
with-
all through their age groups, you know?
It's like I do with how many islanders they've got down there. Like more than over here.
I don't know what it is, man, but they
But
keep
there's-
turning up.
There's talent out there, though, man.
Yeah.
Like, especially in Monroe. If it's not filtering through Pepakura and it's not going to rugby, it's staying in South Auckland. But the Reba clubs are always strong, eh? Like, they have a big, from the grades all the way up. Like, they're always going to have a team.
Yeah.
Out of, like, say, 10 of their grade teams, they'll have 1 or 2 at least in the finals. Like, that's just a given, eh? And they play from, like you say, like the 6s all the way up to the 16s. So that's a long time to be together.
Yeah,
there's always someone that makes it in and someone that won't, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, Reba's, that's like the catching it of all the South Auckland talent.
Yeah, like Otahu's another good example of that too.
Yeah.
Like they got teams from 6s all the way up to 18s. Man, they all stay together. Yeah, something about it. I don't know what their process is, man, but man.
But shout out to all the mums and dads, man. Like, without them in the clubs, man, there is no grassroots football, eh?
No way, man.
Yeah, man. I always get like upset when I see posts of like past coaches that have passed on, and then you just reminisce about the times with that coaches, just to show up. And then we'd even do the pickups from the houses ones, you know. Our games at 8:30, guys. It was at 8 o'clock outside someone's house. Get in the car, man. Hurry up.
Man, I'd mentioned there's a big surge in rugby league, especially because of the World Cup last year.
Yeah.
How popular that was and how successful that was.
Yeah.
Because man, that was mean.
It's crazy, man. I was looking. What is the stats? What was it? NRL sitting at like 50%.
Polynesians.
Māori MPI
Yeah.
players. Like, man, that's crazy. So you think about it, like in a couple of years, it's gonna be like game over. Like, you know, it's like, whew.
Well, I firmly believe that the indigenous, the Māoris, the New Zealand Māoris should break away. Aotearoa Māori should break away as its own entity in the football scene, like as the rugby league.
So you have the New Zealand Māori,
You can
and
have
then
the
you have New Zealand.
You can have the Kiwis,
rugby.
yeah.
Right.
Just like Australia could do the indigenous Aboriginal, and they could do the Australian too.
Yeah.
Like if they wanted to.
Yeah.
But they don't want to do it, because it's too dangerous.
Yeah.
But then it's only gonna grow the game. Yeah, that's what I believe. Because I reckon I reckon it'd be cool to watch that, like indigenous Māoris versus the Toa.
Yeah.
It's like a mid-season clash.
Probably just with time, man. With time, it's going to end up like that.
Well, that's the hope, man. Like in our lifetime, at least, shucks. It'd be cool to see like an Australian coach, by like an Australian great from New South Wales, and then the indigenous Aboriginals coached by like a great like Malmalingo or something.
Oof. Yeah.
Real cool.
Yeah.
Who's your team you supporting anyway?
Para?
Oh, yeah, you too.
We go Para. We go Para.
Guys didn't do well this weekend, though.
What's your reason why you support Para, though? How did that come about?
Oh, it's not a Fui Moi supporter, eh?
There you go.
Yeah, man.
Another
Fui
Manu
Moi
Mao.
supporter. Yeah, and then Manu Mao was there. Was there. Jared Hayne. It's just like, oh man, I just like the embarrassingly, I follow players. I don't follow the clubs, but
Oh, yeah.
even though Fufu is not at Para anymore, I still support Para. Yeah, so it's like Para and Warriors always. Yeah, it's always like a team with the Warriors. Yeah, I just support the Warriors. I mean, we're here in New Zealand.
It's funny, if you look at the top four right now, this is round 3. Top 4 is like, there's 3 teams up there in top 4 you never think would be there. Because Warriors are top 4.
Yeah,
Manly Seagulls top 4. And Dolphins,
Yeah,
number
yeah.
1. Number 1.
the amount of day one Dolphin fans out there, dogs. Hey, the amount of
After funds, eh? What was that? After funds.
oh man, it's cool though. It's cool, man.
It's cool. It's interesting over there in Brisbane because now you've got the north of Brisbane, going to go to the Dolphins, So you wonder how many of them will actually change or stick with the Broncos, It's all like North Harbour, in Auckland. It's like that,
Not for the rich. So.
Yeah.
Any time will tell, man. Any time will tell.
But it'll be interesting how many New Zealanders supporting the Dolphins, maybe Wayne Bennett fans or maybe fans of those players that went over.
There's a few, man. There's a few of Kiwis like that I know. They're always posting like fins up, man. Day one fins up. I'm like, yeah, dog, get it, man.
But it's good to see that it's Wayne Bennett,
Yeah.
Like it's good. Like if it had been someone else, it'd be like, oh.
Well, it's a good way to start the team.
Yeah.
Someone like Wayne Bennett's coming to just start the team, and have those. A lot of them used to play for the Broncos, huh? A lot of the players.
Yeah. Well, because it's a Brisbane-based team, man. Like it would be like having like a Glenora Teratu or Glenora Waitemata. Like a lot of them based out of Waitemata, and then Wairau never had an NRL team.
Yeah.
A lot of that base team ended up playing at Glenora. But now that Wairemata's got a team, it's like, we might as well go back.
Go back. Yeah. Let's go back.
I can buy my old house back.
Yeah.
Can finally live back in it. Yeah.
It's crazy that obsession with time, to go back. It's always that thing, You're like, to go back, and it's like, man, maybe we weren't meant to go back. Huh? Maybe that was the start to going up. Huh? Who knows? I'm always thinking like that sometimes.
Do you have that conversation? Do you have the conversation with yourself? Do you?
What's that?
Like, if you could go back in time,
Yeah, man.
what would you change?
What would I change?
Or if the question is, if you go back in time and talk to your 16-year-old self,
Yeah.
what would you say?
Yeah, what would you
My
say?
16. Ooh.
Yeah, man.
16-year-old self. I'll just.
And will he listen?
Yeah, I reckon he would, man. If he knew what he knows now. Yeah. If he would listen, man. I'd be like, because we had Ray 2YT on, and Ray said, I wish I had more confidence in my own game. Yeah, man, I wish I backed myself more back then. Because, man, some of the prodigies I was following behind me, like, they made it as All Blacks.
Yeah.
They made it as rugby stars.
Yeah.
I was like, back then I was like, fuck, I wasn't committed to living that life.
But a guy like that guy, and he says that, but his game was on anyway.
Yeah.
So imagine if you say, you say, I wish I had confidence. Like, hey,
Yeah.
that's all we see on the field, man. What are you talking about?
Yeah. But I think when you get to a certain level, I suppose, like, it'd be a certain level. But it's just the commitment factor, eh? Like, I think, I don't know. It's not for everyone, though. Like, if you ask me if I'd trade it, I'd say, hell no. I wouldn't trade it for the world. Because, like, because I have heard of players like when they get to their like their later stages of their career, and then they carry on playing, and they said, "Oh, that's me. I'm done from rep football." Then they buy another 2 or 3 years for the money, and then when they've come through the shop and then I've cut their hair, and they've said, "I wish I didn't take the last 2 years."
Yeah.
And I go, "Why?" Because then that's the years I've missed out of my kids. So from the ages of 8 to like 12. So when I've heard that, I was like, damn. And it's a common thing, man. That's why I'm like, I'm lucky
Yeah.
Because I would have probably carried on being like, Fui Moa, man. Another 40 years in the game, man. He still played at the age of 40.
This guy's gonna be playing till 50, bro. Hey, those guys, they just refuse to hang up boots. Hey, you know heaps of those guys. You go, man.
Where's he played out over in the UK?
Yeah.
But there's like Ruben Wiki too, like 34, and he came back at the Warriors. Fucking, he was still, but he was probably running through brick walls like better than when he was at the Raiders.
Crazy, man.
Shout out to Ruben Wicks, man. You're the man.
Man.
Jake the Mas,
Yeah, guy, the Gava King, they call him me. He's
How about you, Suli? If you went back in time, talk to your 16-year-old self, what would you say?
not a damn thing. You should have went to more parties. No, man, I think, probably just, man, jeez. Like, what do you call it? Because I always used to start things and not finish them. You know, like procrastinate. Like I'll start something, I'll be like, yeah, cool, and then it just fizzles out. And then start something. So I think like from then to now, the discipline has grown now to go start something and then finish it. But if I could do that a lot earlier, mate,
Yeah.
I'd be sitting a lot higher than where I'm sitting at the moment. But that's the learning, though. Hey, that's the learning. Yeah.
I used to have this conversation all the time with my friends, and one thing we always say is that, hey, if we didn't change anything, we probably wouldn't be here today.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if it took ages to figure it out, then that's the way it's supposed to be, you know?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because it's always the same thing for me. Like, man, if I save all that money from beers and buy 2 houses right now, you know? Going out and all that.
Yeah, man. Because I believe in that too. Like God's timing. Yeah, or like timing. You know, timing's got to be right, man. Because so many times, like you said, like you're wanting something, but you might not be ready for that thing, So, like for example, like if you didn't buy beers and you bought 2 houses, I mean, what would you do with those 2 houses? Like, would you know enough to capitalize on those 2 properties? You know,
Yeah.
Just like always in timing, man.
But see, that kind of mentality from going out and just partying to saving money and that didn't come to my life until like late 30s. You know? And that's like too long, man. Like that's something I wanted to tell my kids, man. Don't waste your time doing what I did. You know?
But then also that comes down to like knowing like the way that you're being taught as well. You know, like we come like everyone talks about general what do you call it? Generational wealth. You know, and then you're like, man, if only but that's because we don't know it. But if you knew it a lot earlier, then you'll be like, oh yeah, sweet.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And I mentioned this yesterday on the podcast. Like sometimes, like if you're in my shoes, right? Like generation wealth. Yeah, I understand that now.
Yeah.
Maybe it's too late for me.
Yeah.
To be rich, but it's not too late for my children's. And maybe my children's children.
Yeah.
If I start now, you know, I won't see it, but maybe they will see it in the future. I won't know because, you know, I'll just set it up. Maybe that's the thing. Set it up now.
Set it up
for the future,
and then they can reap the rewards of it.
Yeah. And just say to yourself, okay, I won't see it, but at least it's gonna go forward. You know.
And then you just write yourself some strict rules in the deed. You can't inherit this money unless you're like.
You starting to sound like Shaq now. I want 3 degrees.
Yeah. You can only get 3. Once you get 3 degrees, then
you're entitled to my move.
Yeah, then you can unlock this money from the trust.
But then if you read the Herald and let's lose those news, those articles about. Remember, I'll put on the Inside the Clip Facebook page how. Right now in New Zealand, home ownership for survivors is really, really low. It's like not even, what was it, under 30% or something? Under
41%, 40%.
or something. But man, it's like that means, over 50% of us don't even own houses,
Yeah.
And it's getting worse every time.
Yeah.
And it's still the government's doing too, eh? If you think about it, if you go far back enough to see like all those houses that were put on at Bastion's Point, when they took that land, even from so if you were part of state housing, and all those families that lived in those houses, where they were paying what they were paying, they would have, say, if a family had lived in there for 15 plus years, they would have paid half of that mortgage.
By then,
Why didn't the government at the time and all those state houses offer them ownership of those houses? If they can obviously keep paying whatever they're paying, and that's not paying any water, but fuck, a lot of this housing issue would be solved. Like, it would be not as bad as what it is now.
Yeah. Crazy.
It doesn't help they're like letting everyone into the country and then not giving them anywhere to stay.
I just love like hearing stories of people that do end up, getting the house. Like just you hear about the stories of like people moving, like 3 families moving in under one roof. One person gets a house first, and everyone gets up and moves to that house. Then the other 2 get to save for theirs. It's like, man, the amount of strategizing that people go through to get what they want. You're like, man, there's truly no obstacle to people's like wants, and what they want to achieve. You're like, shh.
The Indians are good at that.
Yeah,
doing the whole.
I think they're the best at it, man.
Buying that 5-bedroom house with 3 families in there, save, then each of them go when they buy a house. But they're in there for the long game, and that's what generational wealth and money is. It's the long game. You know, you got to get out of that mentality of it's a quick fix. You know, like, oh, I just need that big payday, and then I'm the man. You know, it's like to understand like investing. You put money away, leave it for 5 years. It's gonna grow. You know.
Yeah, man. Shoot that.
But like, if I sum it up, it's called noodles, tinfish, and petrol. That's what it is. That's what it is. Driving around on E. Yeah. What's for dinner? Noodles. What's for lunch? Noodles.
Yeah.
What are you gonna have for dinner? Noodles and tinfish.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it's called, man. And like, that's a sacrifice, right? It's like, you buy that box of beer, or you gonna get some more noodles. Yeah. Might as well get a bag of rice instead of the noodles. You know, that's a sacrifice you gotta make, and it's only temporary, man. Like, like everything in life, like, it will pass. Yeah. Like, eventually, this will get better. Pay will go up. If you haven't seen that vision of, like, hardship, you'll never understand it.
Because a lot of times when we see the people who are successful, we don't see the work that they put in to get there. All we see is, man, this guy's rich. Or, man, this guy's got this and that. Or, this guy, man, this guy's got all these houses. And like we just think we skip the hard parts, That's it. But then it's like the old people put on social media the best things, they don't put the bad things. Yeah. That all we see is good things. You know.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a just knowing. Yeah. Just knowing stuff.
That's crazy. No one really sees the hard work. Everyone just sees the tip of the iceberg and the tip of the mountain. And everyone's like, yo, but no one sees like the walk that it took to get there. Was like, oh my life.
And it's a long walk. Like with anything, if you have a goal, you chip away at it. Eventually, you're gonna get there. Yeah. But you just gotta stick to it.
That's it, man.
Just stick to it.
Yeah.
Well, on that, Docs, because remember the last time, I think you hadn't come in for ages, but you had the time and you came in for a haircut. Yeah. And I remember I asked you a question on the chair, and he said, "Man, you gotta be used to rejection." Oh, bro. Docs, like, when you opened that up, like, with me, it was like, man, fuck, that hits. To me, that hits on so many levels. It was like, you can't be afraid of no. You know what I mean? Like, just because one person says no to you. Yeah, man.
Oh, that's interesting. What was the background of that conversation?
I think I was telling Letty about acting. When you just got to be so comfortable with rejection. Yeah, because like as an actor, you're just, man, that's the word you hear the most is no, no. Like it's endless, bro. But then you got to like be able to be comfortable with that, with the rejection, and then also like just start dissecting the rejection. So like, you get a no, and then you seek feedback, you know, like, why no? And then it might be like, oh, just because you need to do this little thing. You're like, cool. So you tweak that, and then you get a yes. Or then you get another no, and you're like, okay, what's it this time? And then, it's because you got to do this. So instead of just going, oh, man, I'm constantly being rejected, you know, but instead of flip it and go, oh, nah, why am I being rejected?
Yeah.
But then, and then again, it's like just staying on course. Like, man, no. But just keep turning up, man. Keep turning up. And then eventually you're going to get a yes.
It's like knocking on the door. If you keep knocking on the door, man, eventually someone's going to get, what?
Yeah.
Like, fuck, you ain't see what I got, nigga. Fuck, open the door.
Yeah.
Then, this is the house. This is the house.
This is the house.
Party's here.
Yeah, man.
But like, nah, man, that was powerful when you said that to me, Taco. And I was like, fuck, bro, that's too right, eh? And like, it's like drawing motivation also from the people like that said you'll never make it sort of thing, eh?
Yeah, man.
Like, it ain't gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like, to me, I feed off that, man. Especially when someone goes, oh, nah, it probably wouldn't even be good. Like, I feed off that, eh?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
It's a good thing to teach the kids, eh? That kind of thing.
Yeah, man.
Just how to deal with rejection, because you're gonna get rejected all the time in life.
Yeah,
eh?
bro. So like, because my kids are like slowly getting into performing arts. It's something that I don't want them to do because I'm like against it, you know. Because I've gone through it and I'm like, man, this is the worst thing that I could want for someone else, eh? Especially someone that you love, like my kids. I'm like, oh man, don't do this. Go do something. Be an accountant. Be a lawyer. Don't do acting. Like, don't do creative arts. But they want to do it, and it's like, okay, cool, come do it then. And they're finding out the same as me, like getting rejected. But because they're kids, they take it easier than us, eh? But for us, it's like, no, it's like, oh man, mope around. But they're funny though, my kids, because it's like, they get rejected and then you try to like, you know, soften the blow and you sit them down. Hey man, look, it's all good. Rejection's part of the process. That's just what happens in this industry. And they're like, yeah, like you, eh? Like you never get the role and you always go audition all the time, eh, Dad? Like you. And it's like, oh man, the daggers are just going deeper and deeper. You're like, my son, come on, man.
But then that's showing them resilience there, Docs. You know?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was reading about why there's advantage for kids learning to drive at an early age, like 16.
Yeah.
Why they go do a driver's course and get their license at 16, 15.
Yeah.
Because that age, you got no fear.
Yeah.
You got no fear that age, then if you go do a drive test if you're 80 or 70.
Tell me about it, Luz. I just had my 14-year-old try and move. My dad's holding his parked up on the grass. And we almost sorted another car. And in her mind was like, oh, I thought it would turn by itself. Like, you almost fucking ran off the next door neighbor's car. And she goes, oh, it's all right, we'll just carry on going. And I'm like, oh, shit.
But see, that's the no fear of the kids.
The no fear, but that doesn't know the decision of consequence if we sorted their car.
Yeah. So I think, like, because the kids have that, it's like we should encourage it somehow. You know, like, just harness that kind of no fear attitude that kids have.
Yeah, man.
Like, when we start, like, protecting them too much, then we're throwing that away at, you know, such a young age, man.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
But then again, because it's all around how, because this conversation I had, again, about why kids don't walk to school anymore.
Right.
Because parents are driving them to school, because parents are scared that, you know, they'll get kidnapped or bad things happen on the road. There's too many cars on the road now.
Yeah.
And sort of that might be a consequence of social media and what's on the news. We get the news so often, every second when we scroll, that we get paranoid.
Something negative.
Negative all the time.
Yeah.
And we get paranoid in the world because we can see it every second. So and then parents start to protect the kids.
Yeah.
And that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
Whereas we in our generation, like our parents probably busy working, you know, we just play outside and you know, they come home from work, they do they start doing the cooking, but we're playing outside and they're not really worried about us because there's no social media to worry about anything.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a different time. Huh?
Different time. And also, like, because in our minds, we're thinking about like again, I'll bring up like the party things, like if my kids were to come to me and go, oh, can I go to this party straight away? I'm thinking back to when I went parties, and I'm like, nah, you're not going there, man. No way.
The riot squad's gonna show up.
Yeah, man.
You know,
Jeez.
have you seen Prison Break?
Yeah, no shit, hey.
But why do you think that is, dogs? Why do you automatically go? Nah, yeah.
To my experiences?
Because like 20 years ago.
Oh man. I don't know, man, because we were just wild then, eh? For some reason, we were wild. Like you said, our parents were busy working, so we kind of raised ourselves.
Yeah.
And then also we looked up to the older guys in our neighborhood and whatever they were doing. That's all we thought. That's all we knew, right? So you're just gonna mimic whatever you're seeing, not knowing that it's not the best. That's not the best thing to be doing, and that's not. And same as our parents, like it's not that they were bad parents. It's just they were busy. They had to work, so. Man, we just had to make do. Eesh. And then as a parent now, you try to be more hands-on, and you're like, hey, man, don't do that.
And because of that, because of back in the days, we were more likely to be outside.
Yeah.
We had no games to play inside.
No.
Stuff like that. And my parents are happy that we were outside playing because we were out the way,
That's it. Yeah. Oh, man. But I was like, for me, I'm always like looking back on my childhood, it's just going, man, these were the best days, man. The worst days, but the best days in the sense, eh?
Yeah.
Man, always hungry. Always hungry, man.
I got a tin can of mackerel, and I boiled it up, made a stew, some rice and a pot of rice. And this is a Saturday afternoon, and I told my daughter, "Do you want some?" But she doesn't like fish.
Yeah.
She's real foreign to it. Eh?
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh, what is it?" Okay, it's tin fish. She had a bowl. She had another bowl. She pretty much ate the pot by herself.
Right. Yeah.
And I said, man, back in the day, that one can used to feed 12 of us.
Yeah.
And she's, really? And I go, yeah. And you ate the whole pot by yourself. Imagine what to feed her.
Yeah.
That'll be like, shh, you go, wait till everyone else is eating, then you have some more. Man. But she's the type to, like, if we got ice cream in the fridge, she would just get help herself. Like,
Yeah.
And when the other kids like, oh, is there any more ice cream? There's only a little bit left. Everyone knows who it is.
Yeah, man.
Like, this kid's eating for all the times I was hungry.
It's crazy. Yeah, ice cream was like a Sunday thing for us.
Yeah.
Only on Sunday was like ice cream was eaten. Man. But you had to, every time you open the freezer, you had to look at this damn ice cream and just like, you wait till Sunday. Sunday, and then when it comes Sunday, you get like one.
Yeah. That was us too. The 5 liter one.
Oh, yeah.
That was us too, man.
Some good days.
Pack it up.
Yeah, some good days like that, man.
I hope kids are not hungry these days, eh? Our kids are not hungry these days. Like
too much choice, eh? Too much choice.
Too much food too.
Yeah. My kids are the same too. They get bored of like certain foods. Like they'll be like, yo, I'm hungry, Dad. And it's like, Shana, there's food in the thing. And they're like, and I'm like, what do you mean? Hey, but it's because they've eaten it so much, they're like bored of that thing. They want a new cereal. Hey, they want a new
My kids is chicken.
Yeah.
Man, if they know if I'm like lazy, it's a whole chicken. They're like, relax, eh? That's gonna be finished by Wednesday. It's now Sunday. We'll have that on Wednesday.
But I call my kids backstabbing me to their mom. It's the worst feeling. Probably my wife left to Australia for a funeral. And she took the baby, the young one, with her, and I was stuck with the older two. And she must have been texting them, how's things? And they were like, Mom, man, when are you coming home? This guy only makes tuna and rice, man. And I was like, shh, I guess backstab me to your mom for. And they're like, nah, man, we're getting sick of tuna and rice. I was like, hey, what's wrong with that, man? They're like, yeah, but breakfast, lunch, and dinner, tuna and rice all day. It's like, shh, all day, every day.
Bro, man, tuna and rice in my house when I was young, that was gourmet, man. That was the top shelf dinner, man.
Yeah.
Tuna and rice, and if you're lucky, we had the onion of the my.
Yeah.
Game over.
Yeah.
Got the onion in there. Oh, the onion.
Nowadays, even if you give them mayo with it, they're like, they're still like, it's still tuna and rice. It's like, man, transport your mind to someplace, man. Eat this and man.
He shows the pictures of the McDonald's. Eat it.
Yeah. You've never watched Peter Pan where they were like imagining food. Hey, shakes, man. Our kids are crack up, man. Kids are crack up.
You still getting the packet safe chicken? Because I tried the Costco only.
What do you think?
Man, I thought it was dry.
Oh, yeah.
Because I thought it was dry because it was too big.
Right.
Well, it was heaps of meat though. Heaps of meat.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. You gotta, It depends, like, because I usually buy 2 at a time. I buy 2 at a time and I leave one in the fridge. My kids will probably eat like a quarter of one.
Yeah.
And then it just sits in the fridge the whole week.
Right.
I just eat it every time. Yeah.
I prefer the packet safe one.
Yeah.
It's nice and juicy.
Yeah.
But they look bigger, the Costco ones.
Oh, it's huge.
They look like chicken on steroids. Like, it's like,
It's like a half Tongan Fijian chicken.
they're just cooking the dead. They just the dead. They don't cook anything else. Like, bro, this is a massive chicken, man.
It's only $8 too.
Yeah.
Cheaper than the packet safe one.
True. There's always a massive line for it. That's why I was thinking, man, it must be good, that chicken. There's so many people that's like line up for that, man, at Costco. Shout out to Costco, man. Sheesh.
Yeah, feed your whole family that one chicken.
Man.
Can I ask question, Docs? Because we tried to get you on like earlier, right?
Yeah.
And he said, I think you were managing, and then the week after we tried to book you in, and then you ended up said you were doing some writing for one of my favorite TV New Zealand shows.
Yo. With Shorties?
Yeah, with Shorty.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, with Shortland Street. That's cool, man. Like, it's buzzy writing for them.
Yeah. Do they get you in to come write, like, because they're obviously ahead, like, how many weeks ahead are they? Like 6 weeks or something? 3 weeks.
3 months. 3 months. Yeah. So what I'm writing.
They usually bang on with their what comes up on their show, eh?
Yeah. So whatever I'm writing now will come out 3 months down the line. Yeah.
How'd you get that gig? How'd you get that gig?
I started off writing theatre. I was writing theatre, stage shows.
Is that like a movie script? Like a screenplay? Is that how you write a play?
Yeah. It's to me, it's the same. I think it's the same. To people that are trained, they'll say, nah, they're separate things. Stage plays and screenplays are different. But to me, I just think they're the same. Yeah. So any writers that are watching, they're probably going, nah. But I'm like, I don't care. It's just a story to me. Yeah. But yeah, I think they're the same. I think they're the same thing. But I started writing in theatre first, and then slowly moved towards film and TV. Yeah. So now I'm just writing film and TV now. Yeah, opposed to theatre. I'd love to. I want to go back and write theatre, but the thing is, it's just no time. No time, and then also like it's money, man. It's money, yeah. So going back to writing theatre, I could do it, but it's just like finding the time to do it, and then also finding the time to put that stage show up, and then finding the money to finance that stage show, and then all of the other stuff on top of that. So with me, it's like, don't start if we're not gonna finish that thing. Yeah, that's part of my growth thing. Like I was talking about, like I'm always, when I was younger, I used to start things and not finish it. So now I'm slowly kind of training myself to going, okay, if you're going to start something, it has to lead somewhere. Otherwise, you're wasting your time. You could be investing that time into something else. Yeah. Yeah.
Have you always been interested in writing? Like, when did that start? Did it start at school? Or?
No, writing wasn't the thing. The thing was stories, bro. So like I loved hearing stories and telling stories. Yeah, that was my thing. My mum, right, so, you know, as a child, you get a bit wild and, you know, you get smacks here and there. My mum was noticing, or I don't know if she was noticing, but, you know, when I was getting smacked, it just wasn't doing nothing to me. I keep doing the same thing. And so she would sit me down and she would tell me a story. So whatever I did, like say if I was out with my boys and they stole something, we got in trouble for it. When I go back home, my mum will sit me down and she'll tell me, okay, stealing is bad, but then she'll tell me a story from the Bible about someone that stole and something that happened to that person. And so it was like a life lesson that came out of it. And I would respond to it really well. Like I'd go, yo, and I'd like sit down, listen to it, think about it, reflect on it. And then I'll be like, oh. And then I think my mom just saw that I responded well to stories, and that's how she started parenting me. So everything, whatever I needed or to do or something like that, she would tell me in the form of a story, man, all the time. Yeah. And so I just loved it, bro.
Wow, that's weird.
Yeah, man. That's crazy. So I started loving it. Then I like, she could see that I loved stories and I liked stories. And that's where the passion started, was just through stories. Yeah.
But that's a mean story, because, you know, with us Pacific Islanders, especially storytelling, especially with what's out there in New Zealand with film, TV, even writing books and that, like, and I've said that before, like, I think it comes from our experience doing White Sunday, and just enjoying that, and because at a young age we used to be on stage and performing in front of the parents and that, because that's part of our culture, that's part of what we grew up with. It comes naturally to us to be good at stuff like the storytelling.
Yeah, most definitely. And also it's in the culture, the oratory, standing up and speaking, speaking on behalf of your family, speaking on behalf of the village, speaking on behalf of people and representing yourself. The oratory is massive in our culture. But then also storytelling through body, through our dances, storytelling through song, storytelling. Yeah, it's just in us. It's in us. Yeah, visual. Yeah, man, crazy. But then that's what led me to acting. Yeah, just enjoying stories, liking stories, and then just hanging with your boys, and then kind of would end up just being wild and stuff. And then there was a program when we were growing up. It was the Tyler program. Tyler program. It stood for Turn Your Life Around. It was run by the police. Yeah. And, we were a part of this program. There's like, youths, naughty kids. We weren't that naughty, but we were just doing naughty stuff. Like tagging, like not as bad as what stuff is now, but still bad. And yeah, I was part of this program called Tyler, Turn Your Life Around. And one of the constables or the police that was there told my mom, like, man, he like every time we do the scenarios and he was every time he does the scenarios, he was like always doing he was either the cop or he was like he was the bad guy, or like, man, he was like taking it too like like drama queen, like, bro. And he was like, the cop was like, oh, maybe you should take your son to a drama thing. Yeah. But my mom was just like, drama? What the hell's drama, man? And then someone suggested this, like, just a little drama course, like a after school kind of drop-in thing. And it was up at Caston Community Center. And it was run by these two Palangi ladies. And I went, and me and my mom went there. We caught we walked there. We walked there from Newland. There, and then we got there, and there was other kids there. Doing this drama course, and I was like, oh yeah, kind of did it, and then I kind of liked it, and then we started jamming, doing drama, doing acting, and then kind of like the two ladies suggested that I go to this other one. So I think I must have been too dramatic for that one. I must have been too dramatic for that one. So they were like, hey, you need to go to this other one. There's this one in Titirangi.
The advanced course.
You need to go to the advanced one. This was like Titirangi theatre, Lopdale House. It's in Titirangi. Went there, and this was like an actual drama. Like, these guys were doing crazy stuff, man. But mind you, I'm still like, what am I? I'm Form 2 at this time. No one knows that I'm doing drama, docs. No one knows I'm doing this stuff. So I go to this one, and there's like, again, it's just all Parangi kids. It's your typical, like, they're from Langham, they're like from all these places in Oratia. All those Westies, those Westies. But we're from you know, our idea of Westie is, and then there's that, you know, the surfers, the piha, and you're like, oh man, must be nice. I'm doing drama with these guys, and we're doing drama. Nobody knows, and then we do this play, and we're doing this play, and it's a massive play, and the Western leader comes in, and they take a photo. They take a photo of us, and we're in full makeup, full costume, man. They take the photo. I didn't know that that's the Western leader or whatever. Bang, it's like in the paper, man. It's in the paper, the Western leader paper. And then one of my boys is like, comes with the paper and he's like, shh, son, is that you? And I was like, hey? No, bro, the cat was out the bag. You know, everyone's like, hey, look at you do this stuff. And I was like, nah, man, I don't do this. Nah, get out. Hey, you know, like, get out of here. Caught, man. Because, you know, in my mind, I was like supposed to be this cool cat. You know, we're in the Tyler program, we're doing like naughty stuff. And then they're like, man, is this you? And then I was like, no, kind of like denying it. And then I could see in my mates, they were like, fuck, that's cool. Like, fuck, you do this? What is it about? And then I was like, oh. But I was like, just kind of, didn't really care. I was like, yeah, whatever. But really, inside I was like, shh, this is my thing. And then just like over time, you just kind of like get more confident. And you're like, nah, this is what I do. This is my thing. But, you know, without people, they never make things easy. They're just like, man.
I asked this inappropriate question. So do they put the makeup on you?
Yeah, bro. But, like, it's always funny because, like, especially my family would be like, if I'd, like, say I had a hard day or something, I'd just be like, man, I had a hard day. And they'd be like, hey, like, are you acting right now? Or are you in a character right now? Are you really tired? I'll be like, shut the hell up. But, you know, that's our family. Our friends and family are always the best at getting us, bro. They're the best. But yeah, it was like acting and then turned into writing. Yeah.
It's funny because, you know, we're talking about how this sort of thing is in us as Pacific Islanders.
Yo.
But you went the way of, it's like going the mainstream way or going the Palangi way.
Yeah.
These guys that are into that too.
Yeah.
But I think with us, we're not exposed to that way, that pathway. No. So that's a pathway you went through that's normally going through with everyone else, huh?
Yeah.
Not us, huh?
Yeah.
Like if you're interested in this kind of thing, you go join this play and you go.
Yeah.
But with us, we're just born into it. We just know it.
Yeah.
And so it's up to us if we want to carry on or not. But we don't have our own pathway.
Nah.
Hey.
And our only outlet is you know, White Sunday or Polyfest or maybe the Christmas show at the family reunion. You know, those are like the only outlets that you get to express yourself. Yeah.
But if you think of people like Oscar, those guys, and the Naked Samoan guys, they've gone through the pathway of their own way, or have they gone through the pathway you went through?
Yeah, kind of, because like David Fane, he was at drama school, the same drama school that he was at drama school way before me, and then I went to the same drama school. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think from talking with those guys, some of their journey was they kind of just banded together as keen creators and actors, and then they just kind of started from there. Yeah.
Because more is better than one. And just
that's it.
Bring it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good exposure for Pacific Islanders when the Naked Samoans first came out. No?
Yeah.
Because it gave everyone, wow, look at these guys, look at these.
Yeah.
Islander guys doing this. Now we can do it too.
Yeah.
Whereas you just went through because you're just embarrassed when your boys saw you on the thing.
Yeah,
because there was probably no one up to look up to.
Well, yeah.
At that time, huh?
Yeah, like, man, you know, in our neighborhoods, it's just like the only creators was like rappers You know, the guys that were doing music. And then in terms of visuals, the guys that were taggers. You know? So you're like, oh yeah. And then there wasn't that many role models. The most common is sports.
Sports.
Any type of sports, whether that's like fighting sports, running, you know, rugby league, So that's why I think I never thought I'd be a writer, man, to be honest. Like, bro, I just barely got my NCA English. Like, you know, I just scraped through with English. And so when you think of writers, you're like, oh, a writer is someone that's boto, he's smart, he can string sentences together. Bro, I struggle to string sentences together. But the point of difference for me is, bro, I just know how to tell a really good story, man.
Right.
You know?
And so that just overtook your writing.
Yeah.
What you lacked in writing.
What I lacked
your
in writing.
storytelling. Like, bring it out.
That's it. Yeah. And so that's what's crazy. With like I never knew any writers. There was no one for me to kind of like go, yo, I want to be that kind of writer. Or even actor. Yeah, man. Even acting was like foreign. So I remember telling my old man I wanted to be an actor, and he was disappointed, bro. he was not happy, hey. He was not happy, man.
But even like hearing the disappointments and like you saying like, you know, hearing the rejection, because it never stopped you, Tox? Because you're pretty much your own. Yeah. You're pretty much your own boss, like. Yeah. You know, because you've started something that's yours. It's Pacifica. It's you. Yeah. And there's no other one apart from Mrs. Yeah. Telling you what's what, eh?
Yeah.
So what drove you into that? Like, when was the penny drop for that moment to be like, you know what, enough is enough?
Oh, it was just
time to.
I was venting to my missus, to my wife. I was just like venting to her, like, man, I feels like I'm not going anywhere. I want to be like that. Like, I want to be a boss. And she was like, then why aren't you a boss then? And I was like, nah, because I didn't know how to start a business. Like, what's a business? But she knew the stuff. And she kept it to herself the whole time. Now she knew it. Yeah, it was timing. Like, she knew all the stuff, and she was like, well, man, that's easy, man. Yo, let's do this. I'll register your business for you. And I said, oh yeah. So she went and she registered it. She paid the $150. I gave her the name. She went and registered the business, and then we just went off from there.
So what was the business?
Tales from the Coverable. Yeah, that's our theatre company name. Tales from the Coverable. We've managed to put up seven shows in our time. Started 2012. 2018, just before COVID, was our last show. And that was Burning Opinion. That was in Town Hall, Queen Street. That was our last show, and that was just before COVID. Yeah. So we put that show on, and then literally, I think it was like 3 weeks later, boom, we went into lockdown. And that was it. Yeah. And that's been it for me. That's been it for us in terms of theatre. We haven't put up any theatre since 2018.
Are you going to plan on bringing it up again? Since it's all finished, the COVID stuff? Or?
Yeah, but I think theatre needs to be... the way I see it, theatre's got to be restructured. Like, the way that I put up theatre has got to be changed. The model's got to be changed. At the moment, you know, people go to the theatre. They go to the theatre, watch the theatre, and then they go home. But I want to try change the way that I present theatre. Yeah. And that's just something that I've been kind of playing around with.
Can you explain that more? Because when people go watch the theatre and go home, what is it you want to change?
So for me, like, I'm thinking of like taking theatre to the people, you know. And this is not a new thing. No. This is not a new thing. A lot of people do it, you know. A lot of people do it, but I'm trying to figure out a way how I do it. Yeah. So like people, like a good friend of mine, he does his show in garages, so he'll hit up the homeowner will like hit up like say 50 of their friends, and they all come, and then he'll perform in the garage for them. And everybody will pay like $20 each. So instead of you going to the theatre, he'll come to you. You have your own, you know, you have your food, you have as much liquor as you want, you don't have to pay for anything. you're in the luxury of your own home, you know.
So pay to see that, man.
Yeah. So there's there's a lot of people that present theater like that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out my own way of doing it. Like I had a little go of doing this 2000 and I think it was 2016 or 2017. One of those, I created a show, and it was a traveling show. So we went to 13 churches in Auckland, 13 Tongan churches. Went in there with our own lights, our own sound and actors, and that was cool. It worked. But from that, I know that there's like a lot of different things that we could have done, that we're gonna do to make it better, make that experience better. Because what I've realized, like what I'm seeing, even since 2012, man, like we just don't go to the theater. You know what I mean? Like islanders don't go to the theater, and it's starting to change now, but it's just the whole thing of like, oh, theater, man, that's a white thing. Oh, that's not our thing, eh? Ooh, I don't want to go there.
A concert sounds much better.
Yeah, or a concert, you know. So it's just trying to break down that barrier of going, no, man, theater, it's what we do, man. Like for Maoris, theater is a pōwhiri. Like that's like hard up, that's everything theater. For us, it's like the same. Yeah, but just in a different context.
It's interesting because when I was talking before about the Naked Samoans, when they started doing their plays, like you would probably want to consider it as theatre, even though it is theatre. People were going because they were islanders.
Yeah.
It was all islander theme thing.
Yeah.
And people were going to see it. So maybe that broke the barrier in a sense.
Yeah.
Where, you know, the thought of a theatre and you associate theatre with the parangis wasn't in that kind of...
It's that island connection straight away though, right? Because the second you see, like, say, Dave Fania and then the rest of those guys, once you see it's islanders, it's like, oh, yo, it's going to connect. They're not going to be telling a story about a palangi guy like Sam and Hillary.
Yeah.
You know? They're going to be talking about someone like, oh, the Dwayne Droxton. Like,
That's it.
It's going to be Pacifica's story.
That's it.
But, like, that's what, like you've said it, man. We tell really good stories, eh?
Yeah, man.
Like some of the orator ones that I heard just through Polyfest, like, man, beautifully represented, eh? And
man.
done them justice.
Yeah.
I think that's the beauty in the song and dance that I take out of it, you know.
Yeah.
Talking about like the back in the day sort of things, you know. Before all the governments and that came in, you know, the colonization came in, done its thing.
That's where the thing is, like we're talking about, like the religion, eh? Like, man, life before religion. Yeah. And there's like a lot of people that are, you know, a lot more researchers coming out on that kind of stuff. And historians are going back in time, especially with like Pacifica stuff, indigenous. It's hot commodity, man. It's like...
Yeah. Like I've been, to be honest, like fascinated over like the better and stuff. And the like just watching them. A lot of them have been done in the garages, right?
Yeah.
So this is obviously the Tetuas and whoever's getting guard, they sit through it. But then a lot of people are recording their own stories.
Yeah.
This is the one thing I always buzz out at, like when they finish or just before they finish, and they start off a prayer. They start off a prayer and they end with a prayer. But some of the guys that go under, they say that, you know, you have to abide to what the tufunga says. And all this stuff is happening to you, but you're in a different mindset. You're in a different world, eh?
Yeah.
They're saying that you're going back into a world where, like, you know, until you're finished, that's not going to happen until the egg's cracked on your head. Yet they're still adding the spiritual side of it. Like, you know, but it's the palangi spiritual side of it, you know?
What is that? You know, with I've always seen the egg cracking. I've never understood.
I think the egg cracking is a symbol of the breaking, like the sort of like the breaking of you going under the owl. Because once you get the first bit of ink tapped into you, you're sort of locked into the underworld of
That's
that.
it. Yeah.
You have to abide to everything. Because the second you break it, it's like a superstition.
Yeah.
The second you break it, the effects will start to show on your body straight away. Like I've seen some of the boys, they've got their things. They're better, and then like, oh, you got infected, and they go, oh, did you not sleep on the falla? And like, yeah, slept on a bed, things like that.
Yeah.
So when the cracking of the egg happens, it's like that thing's been lifted off you,
right?
And now you're back into real life, because you can't shave, can't sleep with your wife. It's just everything has to be done by the Tufung's rule.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just like every time I watch these videos, man, they were starting off with something balangi, you know.
Yeah.
I've never heard anything start off with like just, you know, sort of like straight laonga. Like, you know, no one's done it. Like, I'm yet to see one.
That's buzzy. I went to this forum. I went to this Pacifica forum, and the guy that was presenting, he was like, he's like, yeah, Pacifica, the word comes from a French man, you know. It was a white guy that named Pacifica. So everyone in the room, all the companies in the room that have something Pacifica, they were like, fuck. Like, so do we have to change our company name? It's like, oh man. But just like that, like, you know, people are starting to go, man, what's actually ours? Hey, what is ours and what's not?
Now there's new words coming up now, like Moana.
Moana, yeah.
That's the latest one now.
Moana Kinua, hey. There's another one.
People of the sea. And
yeah.
like even the word Polynesian. Like it used to be Islanders plus Māori.
Yeah.
But didn't include Fiji.
Yeah.
So when you say Polynesian, it's like all of us. Now no one says that word anymore.
Nah.
It's Pacifica or Māori.
Yeah.
So it's separate.
Crazy. And then I know people that like refuse to use that term too.
The what?
Pacifica.
Oh, hey.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't include the Māoris.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's just their own kind of belief. They're like, no, that's not a word that we came up with.
Oh, yeah.
We're Moana. And it's like, hey, that's cool. Yeah. But don't get mad at me for saying, you're one Pacifica. No, you're not. You're Moana. I was like, hey, leave me alone.
But anyway, I think about all to say, it's all about language. Oh.
Yeah.
Like, the language, what you use is important now.
Yeah.
Because you might offend people now.
How you say it.
Yeah. What does it mean? Where does it come from?
Yeah.
Just can't keep up with the changes these days.
Especially when it comes to like cancel culture. You know?
Cancel culture and all that.
Yeah, people are massive on that, like how you say it. Hey.
But how about the word human being? There's no humans anymore.
Yeah.
We all separate.
What happened to those types of people? They no longer exist.
I think the craziest one I ever heard was a TV show, and one of the guys was saying like, we're getting that real weird about it, that the gay lesbian community are starting to ask, can we not refer to the Lord as a him?
Oh, yeah?
Like, did you ever hear that? Like,
no.
What are you talking about? Yeah, like I heard it on it was like on a snippet that I watched. Not the Our Father who art in heaven. Why does it have to be father?
That's
like, why couldn't it be parent? I was like, wow, like really? That's how sideways the world is going right now.
It's crazy. Well, everything's like, in a way, everyone just like questions, Everyone just questions, and it's cool. Like that, everyone gets to question things because, like, a lot of times, people just like take things as, you know, someone told you that was the thing, and you go, yeah, cool, and you just run with that.
Sometimes people don't let you ask the question. Sometimes.
And people don't let you ask the question, eh?
There's some certain topics that are sensitive to people, like the LGBT community.
People don't.
The transgender, hey, that's sensitive, man. You better not say the wrong thing, otherwise we're going to come after you.
We're all in that, like, questions. Where questions are embraced. Questions are welcomed. Like, man. Crazy times. It's real weird how the world just evolves. Like, man.
I read this book called Homo Sapiens.
Yeah.
Oh, Sapiens. Have you heard of it? But it's about a guy. He's an atheist. But he talks about it's about humans, history of humans.
Yeah.
Like from when first humans to now, and the history of it all. But he talks about how, like, he talks like he's the alien looking outside, looking down on Earth, and looking how dumb we are.
Yeah.
How we don't work together, and how humans are all separated.
Right.
But he goes deep into, like, we're all separated through countries and culture, because the way the Earth worked in the beginning, how humans like scattered all over the world, and the world, because there was one whole island.
Yeah.
It wasn't the.
What did they call it?
The one continent, eh?
Yeah. What
it was one continent back in the day.
was a name, maybe they called that place.
And then all broke away.
Yeah.
And then different countries. So
does it say why it broke away? No.
From earthquakes and all that.
Yeah.
And the earthquakes and all that kind of stuff. It's all broke away and made different islands how the world is right now.
Yeah.
But because of that, all the humans split up.
Yeah.
Right? And so if you think of Europe, they're the ones that found out technology because there's more of them here.
Right.
So, but the other ones around the earth, they're like, didn't catch on to the new technology.
Right.
So that's why there's uneven with how colonization worked because they built the ships, they had better technology, they went around the world and just conquered the world.
What's the name of the book? Sapiens?
Yeah,
Sapiens.
It's called Sapiens. But he talks about how us as humans, like if we think of how we're from a country, we sort of like loyal to the flag, like any kind of flag.
Yeah.
And that he's saying it's only a piece of material with a symbol on it.
Yeah.
And why are we bowing down to that? You know, why can't we be one?
Yeah.
So it's like he's breaking away all the culture,
Right.
like
all the barriers,
and just be humans. Or we can all help each other.
Yeah.
No skin color, no nothing. We're just humans.
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty out of it, but I get what he says.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting. I know it's hard, but it's interesting how his vision of the whole world.
Yeah.
Like we shouldn't be following culture. We shouldn't be following a flag. We shouldn't be, we should be all as one. We should just be humans. We shouldn't be Irish or Samoan or Tongan or English or any other thing.
Yeah.
We should just be humans.
Just be people. Right,
Yeah.
Right.
Didn't John Legend sing about it?
Yeah.
Imagining. Yeah.
Religion.
Yeah. That kind of thing. But then I thought, if I was an alien up in space looking down at the world and seeing this history, I'd be thinking, nah, you guys are stupid, man. Why you guys fighting? You know? Why is there war? You know?
Yeah. That's how. It's like when we look back at history and we go, man, I can't believe people did that back then. You know, can't believe people did that. What were they thinking? And then what's the bit? Like our grandkids are probably gonna do the same too. You know, they'll look back and go, "Oh, our grandparents lived in a crazy time, man. What's up with that stuff?"
Did you ever read about the blackbirding of the Pacific? The blackbirding of the Pacific.
Yeah.
Like even that, man. Like the closest I ever heard to it being legit real was when my cousins that danced for Te Waka ended up in, I think it was South America.
Yeah.
And they just couldn't get over like the corner.
Yeah.
Are these Tongans? Are they Mexicans? It wasn't until after the show they come up in Maloni. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
How many generations you guys been here? 4.
Yeah.
Since when? The 1900s. The 1900s, man.
Crazy.
It was like 2000.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck for real? Like, they had to take the group backstage and go, these guys took allowance. They've been here in South America. Why they been here?
Yeah.
5 generations? 5 generations picking olives. And that goes back to that ship that came through and just, preaching the gospel and needed people to do the Lord's work. They ended up in the bottom of their boat and in South America. Like,
crazy.
And but some of their history is not known to, like, say, my parents and that. Like, they didn't know anything about it. But then the people who have come forward and said, some of those songs that they sang back in the day was about their boat.
Yeah.
They came through, And if it wasn't for, like, some of the whaifeaus who had left Samoa to take the gospel to the islands too, like Tokelau, they wouldn't have documented what happened,
Yeah.
They just said, a guy got off a boat. He said, we're here doing the Lord's work. The strongest men of the place to come on the ship, And they pretty much took all the men, the Daules, gone.
Deep.
So now, in terms of your storytelling, where do you get inspiration from, and what kind of stories, what kind of stories do you want to tell?
Yeah, I tell my stories, man. Like my experiences that I grew up with.
You're gonna tell me Saint Kate wants stocks?
Like a lot of people, like especially my family and friends, like they'll come to a show and they'll be like, and then after the show they'll be like, "That kid, why did you flippin' write that stuff for, Dick?" And I'll be like, then I'll pull up like maybe a review. I'll pull up a review and then they'll be like, "Oh, the reviewer might have wrote like, oh man, a lot of life lessons to be learned from this story. And I'll be like, Docs, look, your story is a life lesson for people to learn, Tiana. You're a walking resource. But most of my cousins and my friends will be like, bro, why did you write? So I always write what I know.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't write it like down to the T, you know. I wouldn't write it like exactly how it happened. I'm always like going, because I also understand it's like safety of my friends and family, you know. And also, it like comes down to like, say when you're recording, right? When you're recording, no one wants to be recorded that they don't know you know. If you don't know you're being recorded, that's the worst thing. But if someone goes, yo, I'm recording you, then you're kind of like, oh yeah, that's cool. So it's like that's how I kind of approach my writing. It's like I will write it how I see it, but I'll never write it from like what my man went through or how he experienced it.
But you change the names around, right?
Of course. Yeah.
So see, they don't know. They, you're not saying their name, but they know it's them.
They know.
And that's why they're telling you.
They know.
They're telling you about it.
Yeah. But also, it's funny because like, I did a bit of research like early on when I was at uni. I did some research about stories, and I found out that there was 7 archetypal stories in the world. Like there's 7 stories, and whatever story you tell, it's gonna fall in that 7 in the 7 categories.
The hero, one of them.
Hero is one of them. The damsel in distress is one of them. The person that leaves home and comes back, that's another story. So there's like 7 stories.
There's one redemption.
There's the redemption story, yeah. So like whatever story you tell is gonna fall in that 7 categories, yeah. And so I always write the stuff that I went through personally. Yeah, I always use my own experiences. Yeah. Because
I never studied storytelling, but I know a little bit of it because I enjoy storytelling too. But Shakespeare, he was expert at storytelling. That's why he's always talked about always in the school books. And he's forever been studied.
Yeah.
Because he's like the man. He's like the Michael Jordan of plays and storytelling.
But like personally for me, right? Like I'm a working father, Polynesian from out west. The ones that resonate with me is about our own people.
That's it. Yeah.
Like every 9 times, like 10 times out of 10, man. Like, and a beautiful story is a beautiful story, especially when you know it.
Yeah.
Like first time I ever read a full book was like a story I heard, and I just heard the snippet of the guy selling his book, like to a church, and it was beautiful, man. Like, my daughter got the book out, I read it, but just reading it after hearing his introduction and like it's just like a small summary of his life. But man, it was like, man, that's powerful,
Yeah, man.
Because then what I've learned from him telling his story is like, and like being able to jump into this space, is to, man, give everyone the opportunity to do a digital one, you know?
That's it. Yeah.
Man, that's why I always give flowers to camps, bro. Because like, bro, there's no one else here doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hard.
There's no one else doing it.
Yeah.
So it's like important to get them, get people come through and just share, man. Because, time washes over and, we get into the next phase of whatever.
Yeah.
The digital's not going to be erased forever.
No.
And it'll be a long stretch of like,
Yeah.
bites to freaking get rid of it.
Yeah.
And like, even if it does wash over and say we all disappear from this earth, someone's gonna have watched it and be like, I remember that one.
That's it. Yeah.
That's when they're doing crumb dances to our stories about when you jumped on.
That's
talking about the West Side parties.
That's it, man.
Oh man.
I mean, that's why, like, again, like with stories, it's I believe that's how our culture survived. Is through the continuous storytelling. So the continuing, like, keep doing the same dances, keep telling the same stories, keep singing the same songs. If we didn't do those things, I think culture would have died. But through those things, that's how it's managed to exist and survive. And that's my thing. When I create theatre, I'm consciously making work that tells stories, but also has an element of dance and has an element of song in it. Yeah.
You know those 7 storytelling techniques you talked about?
Yeah.
Like, what's the most common one for telling Pacifica stories or our stories?
Identity. Who am I? Yeah, so that's one of the archetype stories. If you look at a lot of our stories, a lot of our Pacifica stories, it's always like, who am I? Like, where do I belong? Where do I fit in? Yeah.
Especially New Zealand born.
Yeah. That's always kind of like the tone of our of where we're at. But we're slowly we're changing. You know, we're changing, and I think that's where the people, like, whenever people change or like move away from the same thing, that's when people start going, hey, what's that? That doesn't belong in the same realm. Like, you're not doing Pacifica stories. And it's like, nah, this is just time is changing, you know? Yeah, so like, it'll be interesting to see where our stories start ending up. Like, if you look at like black culture and all, like, a lot of their successful stories always has to have like a gang element in it, you know what I mean? Always has to have a gang element in it. But like, slowly things are changing, and then people are going, oh, I don't know how to receive this. Like, what category does that fall under? Like, what genre is that? And it's like, hey, it's just the same story, but it's just a different facet of life, you know? So yeah, so slowly our things are gonna go like that too, you know, because the experiences are changing. We're no longer how we were back then, like of our childhood, you know, and then our kids will start telling the stories, and we go, oh, so that's the new Pacifica thing, or that's the new Moana way, you know? Yeah.
There's been a push for, especially in New Zealand, for diversity in the performing arts, especially in media, especially in film and TV.
Yeah.
So they're trying to encourage more Pacific Island or Māori producers or directors or storytellers.
Yeah.
But then the flip side of that, I hear stories about there's a dark side of it. Like, it's like the people at the top, they're just doing it for diversity's sake. You know?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they're just doing it to tick the box. Because it's the in thing right now to be to be diverse. Like, they don't really care about us.
Yeah.
They just need a brown face on the. Because I've heard stories about, even in Australia, how they're wanting all these Pacific Islanders to go be the brown face in their shows.
Yeah.
But they've got their own indigenous, but they don't want to use them.
Right.
The Aborigines, and they'll rather get the Islanders from here.
Oh,
yeah. It's that kind of mentality or that kind of thinking at the top. Like, have you experienced any? Like, it might be a little bit of racism.
Yeah,
it is. If you think about it, have you experienced any of that?
I haven't experienced it personally. But I've been like, so like when I write my stuff, all my stuff predominantly it's Tongan. Like, I tell Tongan stories, you know, and I'm not ashamed to say that. But I use my culture as a way to get people to be aware of like why we do things, why Tongans do things the way Tongans do, right? So, I would cast for me, when I'm looking at actors and casting, I'm like casting people who can do the job. First and foremost, they can do the job. Yeah, I create Tongan stories, but it doesn't have to be a Tongan that's acting. Yeah, that's me. Like, I'm like, if you could be a Samoan actor acting as a Tongan, I'll be all good with it. You know, if you can do the job and you can understand my purpose and you can understand the story, man, you got the job. But then I understand why people are like, yo, but then you're undercutting, you know, what about the tacos? You know, the tacos need a job. And it's like, I'm after the best person that can do the job well. I'm not about like, come on, taco, take this one. You know, it's like, yeah, I'm not about that. So for me, it's about like the right person that can do the job.
That's solid, docs. That's just like the guy, the Tongan dude who I forgot his name, who acts Dwayne.
Yeah.
Rock, hey.
Yeah, Uli.
He's the man. Hey.
He's the man, yeah.
He's the man.
And I could understand too, like, I would understand too, there's probably a Samoan actor going, man, stuff you know what I mean? But it's like, hey, who knows? Maybe The Rock wants the right person for the job. I don't know. Yeah. But for me personally, that's how I do it. Yeah. But there's all a lot of questions that surround casting. Like, what you're talking about. It hasn't happened to me yet.
Yeah.
Maybe one day it will happen to me, and I'll put up a massive post, and you guys will go, I told you.
These are the things that just made me think about it.
Yeah.
Because I've had guests on the podcast that are in the film and TV.
Yeah.
And they're Pacific Islanders, but they talk about racism.
Yeah.
That they can't tell the real story.
Yeah.
Like they have these stories they want to tell,
Yeah.
but they get some. They're at the mercy of the guy that's paying for the whole thing. So we don't like that bit. Can you change that bit?
Yeah.
You have to change it and then
add
stuff to it. And
yeah.
It gets their story is not 100%. You know.
Yeah. I think when it comes to that kind of stuff, that comes down to like negotiations, like how much you can negotiate, and if you feel like you can't negotiate it, then don't do it. You know, if you feel like my creative purpose is being tested, then don't do it. Because then you're gonna feel like that, and you're gonna be like,
especially when it comes out and your name's attached to it. That's pretty good, man. Like that's good advice. Because I don't know how many I've seen of things that have come out, and then you've heard like, I heard you were part of this.
Yeah.
And then you hear, I walked away from it.
Yeah.
And then you sort of, have another look at it, and true. You didn't realize, but when you know, then you hear what actually happened. Was it the conflict of like, my integrity was tested on that.
Yeah.
So they walk away from it, which is probably better than being half-assed and going in and do it. Then you live with it.
Yeah.
That's not what you want to predict.
And most of the time, man, it's like anything. Like you can, you go shopping, man. You know, like what doesn't work at one network might work at another network, you know?
Right.
But it's just because you've gone, man, that's the only way, you know? But you haven't explored all your options, eh? And that's the good thing about having a really good producer that can shop it around. Like, go to that network, nope, go to the network, go to the next one, until you find the best fit for you. Yeah. It's crazy.
I've had people I've had people criticize the Panthers TV series.
Yeah.
Because it seems like there was stuff added on to it.
Right.
Probably wasn't in the original intention. Like it was a Pacific Islander story.
Yeah.
The Black Panthers in the 70s in Auckland. But then there's parts of the series that didn't add up. Like they added the white woman story. About being it's sort of like the first kind of
the cop's wife.
Yeah, it was her story.
That storyline.
They put her storyline in it, which was like talking to the story of women's rights.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
When it's like, I thought it was about Black Panthers.
Right,
I thought it was like the Panthers story. What's that got? What's a white woman got to do with the whole oppressed sort of?
Yeah.
It is depressed, but it just seems odd to put a white woman's story in there when there's a Pacific Islander story.
Yeah.
And you just wonder if that was the intention of the writers, because it was a Tongan guy who wrote it down.
No, there was
from Wellington.
No, those are the white dudes. Was it a Ballington who used to be an actor on Shortland?
Yeah. So Tom Hearn and Halai Fonua, he's got a movie coming out. Those two are the ones that produced it and come up with it. I was one of the writers on there. I was one of the writers on there, and there were other writers as well on Panthers. Yeah, I did episode 5. Yeah. So I was contracted on to write episode 5 based on the research and the work that had been done beforehand. Yeah.
So you know how that works with a TV series? Like you have different directors sometimes with different episodes. And you have different writers too. Yeah. So are you just writing the screenplay?
Yeah. So there's like there's 2 phases to writing. So the first phase, the way I see it is 2 phases. There's the storylining. So the storylining is like coming up with the whole arc of the story, like who's involved, where is it set, what's happening, that's storylining. Then you take that and then you give it to a writer, and then the writer will, based on what your storyline, will go, okay, so it's a hospital room and there's 3 characters, and one of them has cancer, and that's what I'm writing. Yeah, so that's the second part to it. So that's the dialogue writing, and then the storylining. Yeah, so that's what I've been on both ends. I've been a storyliner, like coming up with all the ingredients, and then I've been a dialogue writer, cooking the thing. Yeah. Been on both sides. Yeah. But it's cool, like it has its pros and its cons, like sometimes, like when you're writing the dialogue, and you haven't been part of the storylining, sometimes it's hard because you're just trying to come up with whatever you think the head writer is coming up with. Then you write it and then you give it to him or her, and then, bro, it might be like bang on, like, yo, that's exactly how it is. Or it might be like, this is not, this is far from what I, thank you for coming. And it's like, okay, all good. And you leave, yo. And then you watch the thing and you're like, damn, there's 19 scenes and only one made the cut.
Oh,
the
yeah,
rest you're
yeah.
like, oh, bro.
Yeah.
I think that's Cameron's points came off the back of a guy who was on the back of the 135, but I think his comments was more directed at while we were talking about the Black Panthers or the Polynesian Panthers or the Panthers, and then all of a sudden there's the gang aspect of it.
Yeah.
But if you know the history, that's the thing.
Yeah.
If you knew the history of the King Cobras,
Yeah.
and what they were, because
Yeah.
Chief Bolo talks about it all the time.
Yes.
Chief Bolo talks about it all the time. The first wave of New Wednesday came,
Yeah.
and what Zingy was to the Panther movement. Eh?
Yeah.
Because he doesn't know that.
Yeah.
And he's obviously going, fuck, they had to use that.
Yeah.
You know? And those comments is like, well, if you think about the muscle, the Pachi squad, and who was there, why they could get into Eden Park, that's on the back of the King Cobras. There was no one else there.
That's it.
You couldn't say, I was like, oh, it's actually the guys from Swanson Road, the guys from Mangry.
Yeah.
None of that. It was all the guys from Ponsonby that were there. So, yeah, that comment that he said, I remember thinking, oh, that's a rough bit, because that's what actually happened there.
Yeah.
When the chief came out and he saw that they were fighting amongst themselves, they actually should be like, no, why are we fighting against each other? We should be fighting as one.
Yeah.
And for something bigger than us.
Yeah.
Which was the Dawn Raids, and
That's
when
it.
the Patsai came in, when the Springbok came that time.
And like there was like so the boys that come up with the like the research document that they had to undertake and create based off that is like, man, thick, man, it's massive, it's covering everything, That's one of the areas they had to cover, and there's one of the areas that they had to go and have a sit down and talk about.
Yeah.
Because also the Cobras have an integrity as well, and so do the Panthers. Everyone has an integrity. So whenever you're going to tell a story, you want to tell the story right, So
It's part of the non-fiction law or something. Eh? There's a non-fiction thing, you have to tell it.
Yeah.
You can't make it up.
Yeah.
Eh.
Yeah, there's certain things you can't make up, You can't make up. And that's the tricky thing about it. Yeah.
With the storytelling, you can be creative, but the facts have to be solid. Eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then also, like, people always drop a disclaimer. It's based on actual events, but what you're watching isn't how it rolled out. Yeah.
Oh, based on the true story.
Based on the true story.
Based.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
based.
Yeah.
I used to always think when I was a kid, when it's based on true story, I thought, man, that's a true story. It's gonna be everything's true.
Everything's true.
But
Yeah.
I didn't understand what that word in the beginning mean.
Yeah.
Like based. I didn't know what that meant.
Yeah.
I just thought, man, everything's true. So how'd you get into to screenwriting or from your playwriting?
Yeah.
Because you said it's similar. How did you get those gigs
Oh man, yeah.
for film and TV?
So getting into film and TV was off the bat of theatre writing. So from the theatre shows that we've written, they just they happen to be good shows, man. They happen to be good shows, receiving awards, and then and then doing well in box office, and then like reputation starts growing, and then people give him a shot, and that's how it happened. I was just really fortunate. One of my friends, Noah Finau, who works in TV and film, he gave me my first shot as a TV writer. TV and film writer. It was through him, purely because he was busy. So he was supposed to be the writer. He was supposed to be the writer, but he already had so much stuff happening. Then he was like, "Oh, docs." He told the client, "Hey, I'm busy, but I know a writer that's just as good, and he's a good friend of mine. I'll introduce you guys." Yeah, he put me on, and then it was just from that. Started from there. So it was cool. Like, he got me through the door, but I had to do the work. I had to do the work. Otherwise, it would have been just a one shot, and then.
How much is a full-time job being a writer for TV and film?
It varies. Depending on the show budget. Yeah.
Right.
So depending on the show budget, the producer will just budget everything accordingly. Yeah.
So you got this amount of time. You're gonna pay this much for this amount of time.
Yeah. You got this amount of time.
You've got a deadline.
Yeah. You got this amount of time, and you got this amount of money. You happy with this? Yes or no? Then it's up to you to go. Yeah, all good, or nah, or try and negotiate. Yeah.
So at that time when you got that, and you had that negotiation and you got the deal.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of that.
Yeah.
Were you like thinking, oh man, this is what I want to do now? Like, this is cool.
Yeah.
And how hard is it to get the next job? Because you got, I guess you gotta like have things in the pipeline all the time. Otherwise, you're gonna have a
dry spell.
Eh?
Yeah.
You don't want that.
Nah. That's what I was saying. Like, the scheduling. Bro, the scheduling sucks, but it's got to be done. Like so while you're writing this thing, you're looking for the next thing, and you're kind of counting down that time. And it's the worst, because you're like, oh, sheiks, the contract is, say, 4 months. You're in your last month, and you got your last bit of money, but you haven't lined up the next job, and you're like, man, so you don't want to be in that position. You want to be, for example, if you got a 4-month writing gig, you want to look for the next job, like at the beginning of their first month. Yeah.
Is it possible to finish all in 1 month and just get paid for the rest of them?
Oh,
3 months?
Yeah. There's writers out there that, like, man, they're those guys. They will finish this in less than a month, and they're already on to the next thing. Yeah. But that just comes with experience, man. Yeah.
Shucks.
Those guys are on. Yeah.
So this one your friend he gave you, was that the Shortland Street one? Or?
No, that was another project that's about to come out soon. Yeah.
Is this the one you spoke about in the shop about the?
But I can't. I gotta wait till they drop. I gotta wait for it to drop, and then we can.
But it is based on. Is it based on something?
Yeah, it's based on a real life event. Yeah, based on a real life event, and it'll drop soon. Yeah, it should drop soon.
There's a few stuff coming out though.
Yeah, man. There's a lot of new projects coming up, which is good. It's cool that New Zealand's investing in their own stories.
Yeah, man.
There's
heaps of stories that, like, there's stories that go word of mouth and they really go around.
Yeah.
Like I said, like I always say on our other pod, like, man, the second they make a real movie about it, that's how you know it's real.
Yeah.
Like, it did happen.
Yeah.
It's not made up.
But it's also like it falls back on us as well. Like, we have to support our own things. Like, in order for like people like myself and other creatives to keep making stuff, like, people gotta come and watch it, and that's the sad thing is like sometimes, like, for example, you put a New Zealand movie and you put a American movie, and that American movie, everyone's gonna flock to the American movie, and it's like, but what about us? What about our own? You gotta try to support your own. And that's why a lot of people are like, why don't we have more? Where's our stories? And it's like, Go and support the like. Did you go and support the first one? Like you want more now, but did you go and support the first one? Exactly. That's why we don't have any. Yeah. It's one of those games, eh? It's like
But you're right, guys. Like at the same time, with this being good recently with the amount of Pacifica like film and TV coming out, like, even with the online series, the web series stuff coming out. Yeah. Like there was a Tongan one, season 2 gonna come out. Because I had Diamond Langi on. She came on. She was talking about the latest Brutal Lives, season 2.
Yeah.
Because she wasn't on season 1, but she said she just finished season 2 and it's gonna come out. It's an online series, huh?
Yes.
So there's all these different mediums we can. It doesn't have to be on TV.
Nah.
Like the online thing is probably sounds easy. More easier than.
Yeah.
It's just a budget on how the film will go. Like.
Yeah.
But then I remember seeing this this movie. It was all filmed on the iPhone.
Yeah.
But it looks like real. They used real stuff.
Yeah.
All they had was an iPhone and just the boom.
Yeah.
And that was it. Yeah. But when you watch it, it looks like a real movie.
Nice.
Yeah. I forgot the name of it. But it was filmed in LA.
Oh.
Yeah.
Me.
And he just did it as an experiment to see if he can do it.
Yeah.
And he did it.
And then it just led to being something really big.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
But it shows like even if it doesn't make the theater, like the movies and that, it still can be done like via YouTube and that.
Yeah.
Like that Dave Santinello when he goes around, he goes around with a GoPro.
Yeah.
His stuff's sticker, eh? Like, and he edits himself. But he obviously puts the camera in a place where, and like the visual that you're seeing is like it's like almost through his eyes.
Yeah.
You know, and it's rare that you actually see like him talking on camera on that actual set. You know, because it's always moving.
Yeah.
But if you look at the followers he's got, he's on the millions, man.
Even the social media stuff.
Yeah.
Like those guys that do those skits. There's heaps of them out. The amount of the. Like KMA, how he does the skits, like it's like looks professional. The angles, the soundtrack coming up. And you know, wow.
Yeah, there's some awesome like creatives out there, some poly creatives. They're doing some good things. It's like, man, that's mean. It's only through time that they'll get picked up. Yeah.
I always liked the whole because I'm a fan of American stuff, right?
Yeah.
I'm a fan of Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
And he did a little his own like half an hour special at his own house.
Yeah.
So what he did was because he lives on the farm.
Yeah.
And what he did, he decked the whole field with chairs and bean bags and all that. Invited the locals to come and
Is it the one where Tiffany Haddish got high airs of the mushrooms?
Oh, I don't know.
Was it that special?
No, it was only a half an hour one. He was talking about the George Floyd stuff.
Oh yeah.
It was funny and serious at the same time.
Yeah.
But it was cool how he did it at his own house. And I was thinking what you were trying to do, like taking it to people.
Take it to people. That's cool.
And having a show.
Yeah.
But his comedy, I love his comedy because it's racial.
Yeah.
Because he's his comedy, especially his show he had the season 1, season 2 of Dave Chappelle show. All the skits.
Yeah.
Were about racial stuff.
Yeah.
And it was just funny, man. Like hilarious.
Yeah.
Like he was putting down the white people, like showing in a funny way, showing how. You know, all the racist stuff they do.
Yeah.
You know? And I think we got a space to do that here.
Oh, yeah.
Like, be that sort of extreme. Like, I think to us because when I think of all these skits that happen with all these people that do these skits on social media, they're funny. They're talking about, they're making jokes of how we grew up.
Yeah.
And all that. But man, I've yet to see someone that's making fun of the Balangis.
Yeah.
Just making fun of them because there's a racial difference there that's interesting.
Yeah.
And it can be done in a way where it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Like I know I saw one when I think it was Cam. He did one when he had a story when he was a kid. He went to his Balangi's mate's house and there was a different culture in the house.
Yeah.
Like the kid was answering back to the mom and that kind of stuff. So that kind of thing I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like the differences. Yeah. Like I don't know. I just wish there was more of that.
This sounds like your alley, man. Sounds like you need to write us one, my man. Hey. Yeah, man. You should write us one, man. That might be your thing. You might be onto something there, brother.
Well, I've always liked storytelling now. I've always liked it. Like even with the podcast, like trying to, because I don't know if you've heard those narrative podcasts, like they actually tell a story.
Yeah.
And they have put the sound effects in there.
Yes.
And they have interviews and
like
they talk about
audiobooks, like 50 Cent audiobook. Like I listen to that. Like,
like I should show you after this.
Cool.
But there's podcasts where they actually tell a story from A to B.
Right.
They have a story arc from and they might have a series too, but they have different voices on.
Oh yes. Yeah.
And they have sound effects too. Mm-hmm. Like I'm just walking to the house and you hear the footsteps.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So it's like a actual, you're listening to, it's like you're listening to TV, but you're not watching it.
Yeah. Like we used to do a few of that back in the day, but it was like radio theater. It was radio theater. It was a play, like actual stage play, but it was like recorded like that, edited, all of that stuff. Yeah.
That would be hard work, but that's something I would like to get into.
Yeah,
the opportunity. But I know that'll take heaps of time though.
Yeah. That'd be cool. I think there's still people that are doing that, like here in New Zealand. I just can't remember. I know Radio New Zealand used to play a lot of it.
Yeah.
RNZ, they used to play it.
They do a lot of those kind
radio
of podcasts.
plays. Yeah.
Shout out to my girl Andera for her latest one about Sikopekepu and what happened in Weasley.
And I still haven't seen it, man. I mean, I got forwarded it, but I haven't like watched it.
Read it, man. It was a hard reading.
Is it an article too?
Tough read. Andera read it.
Oh, so it's an article as well as
she did both.
Interview?
And she did it on the pod as well.
Oh, and the pod as well. Right.
I saw it on Twitter.
I know it's doing the rounds.
Yeah, but you know when you read it, it's different now. You know it's different when you read it, and then I couldn't read the rest.
What is it? What is it about?
Oh, just he came up. Now that he's got kids.
Yeah.
Well, he went through. He wouldn't want for his own kids. So that's the Weasley experience that he's talking about.
That's what it's called, Weasley experience.
Weasley way, yeah. So he's been shot down from a lot of old boys trying to say, nah, you got to keep that on the hush. But it's like, how you keep it on the hush if it's cruelty, you know?
Right.
Because he pretty much got picked on his first year 9. Year 9 for however many years. But it's still raw to him, because he said he's triggered by the smell of links. The smell of links brings it all back.
Oh, yeah.
And walk around the school, you got phases of him and the other Weasley and Moana Pacifica boys as anti-bullying. So for him to step back into their space, and it would have been from when he went with the team.
Right.
He just smelled that links in the dorm, brought it all back. And he was pretty much, his first night.
Well, he was going to tie the kid?
Nah, his first night in the dorm, the senior prefect, shirt off, stood night guard.
I thought you meant like he...
Nah, it's like reoccurring thing.
Right.
It's just everything he went through.
Okay.
He didn't like, but he came out about
it.
But then when he came out about it, it's like another 2,000 other boys did too. Because he's obviously the captain and he's the voice, So it feels alright for him to step forward.
Yeah.
Everyone else is stepping forward to speak as well. But there's some of, his one probably is hard for him to explain, but some of these other kids, they had other stuff done to them even worse.
Right.
See, and these are places where you can find stories, no?
Yeah.
Places like this. Like articles that come out that report on stuff. You can actually get stories out of it too. But you're right about your own experience getting your stories from that. Because this is an insight of life people don't even understand, eh?
Yeah.
Like, I think with people in your generation, Islanders in your generation, they understand straight away. Like, they can relate to that because this is what everyone was doing back then.
Yeah.
But people outside,
they
don't understand.
Yeah,
and it's good for them to have a look. But I think that's the trick, eh? Because, this podcast is part of the West West Network, and our slogan is from a Polynesian perspective, right? So it's our perspective on anything.
Yeah.
Okay. Our people get it.
Yeah.
The Balangis don't understand where we're coming from.
That's it, yeah.
But they're not necessarily wanting to have a look at where we're coming from.
Yeah.
They'll just brush it off like, oh.
Yeah.
But how do we transcend that? How do we get them to be interested in our perspective?
Yeah. Like when I first my first theatre show, Balangis that came, I was like kind of weirded out, like
Yeah,
that
yeah,
they were
yeah.
there. Like I was weirded, like I was like, hey, why are you here? Like, thank you for your money, but like, what?
Suli must be French.
I was like, hey, what?
Yeah, so what was your take on that? Because is it like, because it's a theatre, it's the Balangi kind of thing, that's why they're going?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. They just, when I asked them, I was like, yo, what are you doing here? Why are you here? And they're like,
did you realize that they remember that it was like you, it was something wrong with the eyes that you were wearing that day? What are you doing here?
Or did they come to the wrong thing?
no, the thing, like, because they're just theatre goers. So because they're theatre goers, they're just keen to go watch theatre. And they seen a poster, a Tongan poster, and they were like, whoa, what's that? Let's go check this out. And that's how they came, like just purely like inquisitive, like, what's that about? And they came. And then that's what made me angry about my people, because it was like, my seat is a poster for you, and you don't even go, what's that? You just go, eh.
The West's one was like, oh yeah, we'll come in, but it was yesterday, Dick.
Yeah, you look at your event, it's like, click going, there's so many people going, and they never come to your thing.
But that must be awesome anyway.
Nah,
you know,
yeah.
You know, just to have different people come and see your show.
Yeah.
And did you ever talk to them after? Like, what did they get out of it? Like,
Yeah, I always try
was
to.
it interesting?
Yeah, I always try to talk with the audience after, just to gauge, especially the non-Tongans. The non-Tongans, I'm big about talking with the non-Tongan audiences, because it's like, did you get what I'm trying to portray here, or what I'm trying to say? And they're like, yeah, man, it's real interesting. Blah 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 blah. At the same time, there'll be a lot of Tongans that go, fuck, why did you do that? Like talking about dog eating, talking about dog eating. In one of the shows, we talk about dog eating, and people, you just see all the Tongans like slump, you get slumping in their seats, like ma. They're like,
Yeah.
But you know what, man? Like when it comes to culture and identity, like that, it should never be ma.
Yeah.
That's what makes us different. That's what makes us who we are, man. Like,
man.
Like a white Balangi guy would never get it.
Never get it. Yeah.
I was like, bro, when
But
you know,
they won't get
if
it.
you know.
But they're interested.
They're
They're like, what? What did you say? Dog.
Yeah.
Dog. What?
Yeah.
What are they doing to the dogs?
That's it.
Interested when I'm here.
Yeah.
You know?
And then it just starts like a dialogue. It starts a dialogue.
Yeah.
And that's what you want. Like, you want people to talk about what it is that you want to talk about. Yeah. Because like for me, like making like my work, it's all about building awareness of Tongan culture. Building awareness for Tongan culture. So that's why I'm always writing about Tongan things, is because I want the world to understand who we are as people, instead of people just looking at us and going, these Tongans, they're just born Tongan Crip gang, you know? They're just born like that. And it's like, no, we're like this because from a young age, we're in groups. Groups is our thing. We have our youth group, we have our church group, we have the kava group, we have like women group. That's why we navigate in groups. It's not because we like this pack mentality to beat people up, you know? So like, I'm always trying to like break down Tongan things for a wider audience to understand. Yeah.
That's beautiful, docs.
Yeah. Like, that's the purpose. Like, that's the purpose, eh? Yeah.
I'm amazed because I haven't heard the name TCGs in ages. Man. That's the first time in a long time I heard that.
I still buzz over that. It's like how we have so much in common and why we have the same humor, but you went to St. Ken's, dogs. Always over my head, eh?
That was a cool place, man. That was a cool time, man. That was a cool time. Not cool when we played Cousin Boys, but man, yeah.
Sure, man.
But it's buzzy, though. Like when we, jeez, yeah. Like the buzzy thing is, even now, like when I go and try gauge with other creatives, other Tongan creatives about like work and stuff, you still can't please everybody. Yeah? You still can't please everyone. Like there's still people that go, man, that was trash. Or, you know, they won't say it to your face, but you'll hear from other people. You know, the whispers and this. Man, someone said that's trash.
Well, that's part of rejection, I guess.
Yeah.
And that's what we have to get used to.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, whatever. If you don't like it, if 100 people don't like it, maybe 100 people will like it.
Yeah. So and that's it. Like
really
a lot of times it's like you're creating you're telling a story from your perspective. You know, that's how you saw it, that's how you felt it. And then a lot of times when people do have comments like they didn't like it and that, it's because they see it in a different way, you know? And it's like, then you challenge that person and you go, cool. So you write your version of the same thing, you know? Because this is my version of the thing. You have an opportunity to write your own experience about it. And we can talk about that as well. Yeah.
Shucks, man. So what's happening for next rest of the year? What are your schedule?
Man.
Some more writing?
Yeah, I'm just trying to stay on top of the writing, stay on top of creating, and just trying to keep busy. Yeah, trying to keep busy. And then also like encouraging and inspiring other young writers as well. Yeah, so...
Oh, man, you inspired me, man.
Bro, jam it, man. That would be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. I like hearing that, what you're thinking of writing.
Yeah.
Do it, man. Oh.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
So is the Shortland Street going to be all year, that gig?
Oh, so for Shortland Street, we work on like a roster. This is like, a lot of people don't know, there's like 40 writers on there. Yeah.
Oh.
And you just rotate.
Oh.
So like, this week, 7 writers will be up, and then next week another 7 writers are up.
Oh, so you're just in the rotation?
You're just in rotation, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then,
that's good, eh?
Yeah, depending if you're a favorite. If you're a favorite, you're gonna get you'll get scripts often.
Oh, yeah.
If you're not a favorite, it's probably like once. Yeah, but no, it's cool. It's good because I mean that's the one place where you get to actively work on. You know, that show goes all year round, man. So, and that's the only one for New Zealand, the all year round. We don't have the luxury of like America that has multiple shows that operate all year round. Us,
right.
Us is the only one. So, yeah.
So you'll be happy.
Yeah,
You should give... I think he's going to give you some tips on what the story should go. Like,
The
he's a
story,
big
man.
fan. He's a big fan of Shortland Street.
Alright, I'll drop the barbershop talk after we get off. Exclusive talk, yeah.
That's a good show. I think it's starting to be real diverse. Shortland Street, which is cool. Like you know, you're seeing a lot more different ethnicities on there, which is good. It's starting to be reflective of what the country is. Yeah, slowly.
Oh, it's portraying it really well though. That's the thing. Like even having a transgender on, the Filipino and the Indian.
Yeah.
And then there's been aspects of the Samoans.
Yeah.
It's like crazy, man. Like they're covering it all.
Yeah.
And it almost seems too real. It's like, oh man, that is real.
Yeah.
Especially the going off each other and like the, you know,
Yeah.
when it's in the hospital. It's like, yeah, that's stuff real. Eh?
But that's what you want, though. You want to watch it back and go, oh yeah, that is us.
When did the cinematography change? Because it's better. Like the wide angles, the close-ups, the dark backgrounds,
Yeah, maybe
the lighting. Wow, it's like a movie now.
even the music. Like I was watching the other day, I was like, hey, the music is pretty thick up, man. Who's composing this?
Like I haven't seen Shortland Street in a long time. But when I flicked it on, because of this guy said he's a fan, so I flicked it on, and man, I was amazed at the quality of it now. The production value has gone up, especially with the filming of it, the camera angles and all that kind of stuff.
Did you stop watching and then restart later, or did you just watch? Have you been watching ever since?
I probably stopped maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, but apparently when I was listening to why they were, because some of the actors were pregnant,
Right.
and then because of the COVID. So yeah, I think my old workplace, they had some of that filming done in New Zealand, and I could tell like, hey, I know they're boarding, like it looks familiar. So yeah, I stopped through the COVID, but then started watching again. But I've always been obsessed with Shortland Street. I just love the storylines. Every time, like when the pandemic happened, it was sort of something that happened on Shortland Street just like a few months before. So I was buzzed. I was like, man, they get it right all the time.
It's a cool place. It's a cool place to be working at, and also like it's special too. You know, because you're like, man, I was a fan too. You know, you watch it growing up, and then you're like, whoa, I work here. You know, it's crazy. It's like surreal sometimes because you're like, man, and then there's days where you're like, man, I effing work here. You know, but then there's days where you're like, yo, this is cool. Eh?
Yeah, for a minute I had a thought of doing a Shortland Street podcast.
Yeah,
just to analyze the week of Shortland Street, since it's a New Zealand program, you know. And I don't know. I might have found myself a host.
That'd be cool, man.
If my girls are on here, man, they go, Daddy, man, let us swear. Shut up.
But Suli, man, thanks for coming on the podcast there.
All good, man. Thanks for having me.
Man, love to have you come back, man.
Yo, all good.
Talk about some more.
Yeah.
Before you go, Docs, I made sure a friend of me said to reach over to you, put my hand like this. They say 1, 2, 3, 4 on your head. But yeah, he was in here, so yeah, he said you'll get a reaction like that.
He knows too well about these West Coast Road parties. He knows way too much about these parties that we used to go to.
No, but mad love to you, Doggo.
No, mad love, man. Thank you for having me on, boys.
No worries, man.
Oh, awesome. Yo. Yeah.